Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I just got back from a short little trip and I have something that I want to talk to you all about. You may have heard or seen it yourself that there is a survey going around the community right now regarding the Division 2 that brings up some very interesting points, and it's stuff that I really want to discuss and share my thoughts about with all of you. Now, as I said, I'm about, 2 days late to this, so some of you may have already gotten this survey yourselves in your emails or you've seen other people make videos about it. That's all great. I'm not trying to say that I discovered this survey or anything, but I do want to give my own thoughts about it because not only does it kind of hint at some interesting things for the future of the Division 2, but it also kind of jumps categories a little bit and delves into Heartland and gives us some information that has not necessarily previously been dived into before. So, some pretty interesting stuff I hope you will all enjoy. Now, really quickly before we fully get into it, I want to give a disclaimer but also play devil's advocate a little bit. I know some of you are already probably thinking, oh, okay, a survey, that means nothing. Any company gives out surveys regarding their product to people just to gauge interest, gauge what people are thinking about different aspects of the product and of the service. They're asking about things in the survey that may very well never come to light or never get worked on in the future, and I fully acknowledge that, and I'm not trying to say otherwise. But at the same time, we have seen a precedent in the history of the division where surveys have actually been pretty influential as to what we've seen come later down the line. The main example is that sometime in 2020, I want to say it was somewhere in the back half, we got maybe 9 months before May of 2021, we got a survey regarding player interest about the Division franchise and game on mobile devices. And everyone at the time was like, are they really thinking about doing the Division mobile? It asked about what kind of qualities people would want to see worked on most in the game, whether it was the sound, the graphics, the gameplay, all of that. And then, kind of went away for a bit. Silence. 9 months later-ish, May of 2021, we get the announcement for the Division Mobile. So, while the contents of this survey could very well not turn out to mean anything in the long run, they also could. And they also could be trying to figure out what they want to do moving forward and how to specifically tune and work on the content that may already be in development or be in the idea stage. And so, all of that said, I just want to go through this survey, show you guys what was asked of the community lately, and give my own thoughts on some of the things that the devs are asking everybody right now. Pretty interesting stuff. Let's get into it. So here's what the body of the email that anybody who got this survey got looks like, and obviously as you can see here, I have to give a big shout out and thanks to my buddy Rogue Gaming UK, who informed me that this survey was going around and sent me some various images of what it contained so that I could be bringing you this video right now. I did not receive this survey myself, so I'm not showing you my own screenshots of what it says, but this is what he and others who did get this survey have been asked, and so again, huge thank you to him for providing these images and allowing me to talk about this with you all. I will leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description, so thank you very much, man. Now let's get into it. As you can see in the body here, just to get an idea of what the survey is generally about, it says, the Division team is committed to build the best experience for you gamers, and to make it happen, we want to hear from you, the community. We are currently conducting a survey for Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and we would like to understand your thoughts about your experiences with the game and new season. This should take about 15 minutes to complete. Thank you for your support and sharing your opinion. So, upon going into it, and I'm not going to extensively cover every single slide and image here because they're not all super relevant, but we are going to just gloss over and then talk about the ones that I find particularly interesting. It starts out pretty basic. Why did you start playing the Division 2? And then you pick from a variety of things there, which of course just kind of give them a sense of what you're interested as a player. It then asks, what you like and dislike about the game. How does it compare to other games Which the Division fantasy appeals to you the most? It, expands on a number of things here, from different story elements to gameplay stuff that's pretty standard. On a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with the open world activities from the Division? So of course getting a sense of how the different open world ones rank. Obviously some of those are a bit more prominent in the game than others, but that's pretty interesting. Then we get to this. And again, I want to stress this doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean that they're specifically going to focus on this in the future. I just find it interesting how much PvP specifically is referenced in this survey. The first one here is, do you engage in PvP activities? Yes or no? And then I'm assuming he said yes to that because I know that Rogue does. You said you engage in PvP activities. How would you rate the following modes? Then they ask you about both conflict and the DZ, whether you on a scale anywhere there from dislike it very much to like it very much, as well as I don't know and I did not play it. So you can rank how much you enjoy conflict and the Dark Zone, and then it moves on briefly, but it'll come back to it in a minute, and I want to talk about that as well. After that, it then talks about Season 9, some of the PvE stuff that we got with TU15, ranking the likes of Countdown, Expertise, and the new Manhunt, so that should get a sense of how people are feeling about the new PvE content in the game along with PvP. Then it also asks about, I find this pretty interesting, the Fairview Crew Apparel event. It first asks if the person taking the survey is aware of it even happening, and then furthermore, it asks how you would rate your experience with the event in the Division 2. So I assume their reasoning here is somewhere to gauge between the outfits themselves as well as the technical performance. Obviously, we know that event came with a significant amount of delays and issues, so that's pretty interesting that they're asking about that specifically. And then it also at the bottom asks you to rate the theme, the quality of the outfits, and the variety of the outfits, so that's pretty interesting. All right, and then we get to this one where it says, what content do you want to see the most in the future of Tom Clancy's The Division 2? Now again, I personally find it interesting that they specifically asked about PvP earlier in the survey, considering there's been basically no focus on PvP for the last 2+ years of this game being out. And so now, not only are they asking if you play it, but they're also then leaving some PvP options in the thing here. And again, surveys do this all the time. They ask you stuff that maybe there are actually no plans of doing in the future unless, you know, they were to get huge amounts of responses in the survey. But I find it interesting that it's on the table nonetheless. They say, among this list, new PvP game mode, more ways to customize my look, new seasonal events, new raids, new Dark Zone, new strongholds, more story, new side missions, more challenging content, new gear and weapons, new open world activities, and new manhunt. So, again, I just think it's interesting that they specifically label the option for a new PvP game mode on there, and they don't list a new PvE game mode. So again, could be something they're considering. I just find it interesting, like I said, considering there's been zero emphasis or real resources placed on PvP for a very long time in the game now. Hopefully that means we might see some more PvP support coming in the future. As a lot of you know, I am a PvP person, so I'd very much welcome and love that, but we'll have to see. Now we get to what I think is the most interesting part of this survey, and that's that even though it says it was specifically about the Division 2, we then jump across the lines a little bit into another property in the franchise. Have you heard of the Division Heartland? Now, the responses here are, I have played a test version of the game, I've seen several videos and or articles, I've seen some videos, articles, I've heard some things, I've heard the name but not seen anything, and I've not heard about this game. Now, I don't know what response Rogue picked to get this next slide. This is where it's pretty interesting. It then gives you a breakdown of the game before asking you to rate your anticipation based off of that description. So, let me just read what this says. The Division Heartland is a third-person, free-to-play PvEVP survival action shooter set in the Division universe. It offers a streamlined approach to survival where you scavenge alone or in a team during the day, fight with other players against AI to gain tools to survive the night, fight versus other players and AI. You take increasing risks as you combat deadly dynamic contamination and hostile rogue players, building your survivability from one session to the next while uncovering the ever-evolving mysteries of a rural community in mid-crisis. So, there you go. I'm not going to give too many of my own thoughts about this, but there are a few things I just want to say and kind of emphasize. The first is, this is an official survey coming from Ubisoft, so you might expect that this description to be a little bit more accurate than some of the other leaks. And the leaks are really what I want to focus on here and say that I see a lot of people all the time, not even just with Heartland, but with games in general across the industry. As soon as they see something that is leaked, they're like, oh, that's 100% going to be in the game. It's going to be just like this when it comes out. And this description that I just read to you for the Division Heartland is probably the 10th or more description or, different depiction of what content is going to be in the game I've seen now across the internet from various sources, Ubisoft or otherwise. And so I just want to emphasize that you should always, and I've said this plenty before leading up to now, you should always take leaks about this stuff with a grain of salt. You would imagine that this description might have a bit more validity to it because it's coming directly from Ubisoft in this survey, but like I said, it's very different from other descriptions you may have heard about the game. So we'll see how things play out, but I think it's very interesting and kind of exciting that they put this into this Division 2 survey to get people, more interested in the game, get their thoughts about it. And there you go. There's your latest look and little peek at what might be awaiting us in the Division Heartland. And there you have it, guys. That about concludes the survey that was recently sent out to the Division 2 community. I thought it was pretty interesting, especially the stuff about PvP and Heartland, so I very much hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts and coverage of it. Again, I did not get this survey myself, but big shout out to Rogue Gaming UK for sending me the one that he was sent to be able to share with you all. And if you were selected for this survey, let me know down below. I'll be very curious to kind of find out who amongst the community it was sent to, if there was any specific demographic or maybe regions. I really have no idea, but again, pretty interesting stuff, so I very much hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about this general survey. What do you think about the different questions pertaining to PvP, any other Division 2 content they mention in here, and what do you think about this description that they give for the Division Heartland? Pretty interesting stuff. Again, I'm not necessarily surprised, but just intrigued that they decided to fit this in here with this Division 2 focus survey. So I think it's pretty cool, and I'll be very curious to hear your thoughts all about it. That's going to do it for me today, though. Everybody, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.